Alrighty folks, we need to talk about Redfin and their call that the housing market might be showing some cracks. Will this be the news that the bears and crash bros want to hear? How about UBS and the call that we may be repeating the roaring 20s? What does that really mean? And of course, I want to let you know that we are doing a little bit of traveling. So what does that mean for you in this channel? Two things. One, I will still do the daily financial news. My intention will be to do it live, but there will be some days I probably will have to pre-record it. But you can count on the daily financial news each morning. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do my interviews for, let's just call it a couple of days. To that end, some of my experts have volunteered to create content so that we can keep the motivation, education going. Thanks to the team at Convoy, thanks to Ty, who have already created content one-on-one and did that for us. So thank you in advance for all of that. But here's the most important part. Because I won't be performing interviews, right, which usually are 3 hours a day, I want to hear from you. What questions would you like me to answer? Now, my goal for these questions are something that I can riff on for 5 to 8 minutes. So when this video is all down, or when this video is done, and you would like to ask me a question that maybe I haven't answered or whatnot, leave a comment below. I will be watching the comments, and if I see some good questions, I will take a shot and answering them for you. So, you know, hopefully you enjoy that. Hopefully we get some good questions. So again, won't be doing the interviews, but I would love to answer your questions the next couple of days. Consumer sentiment, something that we didn't talk about on Friday was consumer sentiment, folks, and it was ugly, ugly, ugly. Why is this important? As I've always said on this channel, the consumer drives the economy. So what is happening to the consumer? First and foremost, it fell. It went to 60.4, expectations 63.7, last 63.8. What do those numbers mean? They mean absolutely nothing to you. What they do mean is the consumer is getting more and more discouraged. We are on a 4-month fall in what the consumer is feeling. And again, the consumer is feeling not only a fall as far as the economy, but even worse, they are expecting inflation to be higher. This is the dreaded combination of high inflation, low growth, a la stagflation. And again, if the consumer really starts to act like they are feeling, that could be a problem for the Fed. Mohamed El-Alarian, he is out saying something that you and I have talked about for 9 months probably. You let me know. Mohamed El-Alarian says, brace for a sharp drop in inflation, but it will hold above the 2%. What is he talking about? He is talking about oil. He is talking about housing. He is talking about car prices. All of these are on a disinflationary trend. The growth is slowing. Some are actually going deflationary. Housing is the one that we've been talking about for a while, is in disinflation given how it is calculated. So Mohamed El-Alarian is talking about by April or May, we could see inflation having a 2 handle on it. If we do have a 2 handle on inflation and the economy is in a recession, what does the Fed do? That could get very, very interesting. Mohamed El-Alarian is saying the risk of a recession is lower now than it was last year. To me, that's really interesting, right? Because last year, at least in housing, we really felt the economy slow down. Now we have interest rates hitting 8%, and it's certainly slowing down, but it doesn't feel like last year. So again, we will watch that. We got to talk about CPI, we got to talk about PPI, but let's dive into CPI. It comes out on Tuesday, I believe. Let me check. Yep, comes out on Tuesday. Here are the expectations. Again, CPI headline. This is going to be a big one. Remember, CPI headline has gone up. I think the last 2 months, it might be 3. I think it's the last 2. Last was 3.7. Expectations, 3.3. 3.3. So pretty significant drop in headline. A lot of that will be oil and gas related. Core was 4.1, expecting to be 4.2. That would be a problem, right? That would be, I think, the second month that core is up. And again, the Fed looks at core, specifically PCE core, which we will get in a couple of weeks. But again, we will see inflation. So it will be very interesting to see if CPI headline actually falls more than expected, because there is a chance given oil's drop. I've been watching GDP Now. GDP Now, again, is that Atlanta Fed-based real-time update on GDP for Q4. It was at 2.1. It dropped after the PMI data to, I think, 1.2. It is now back to 2.1. So remember, Q3 was 4.9. Now they're looking at a decently strong Q2. I think, again, recession starts Q1 of next year. How about UBS? UBS coming out and saying we may be repeating the roaring 20s. What does the roaring 20s mean to you and I? Because I certainly don't remember them. I really haven't researched them much. But here we go. It means growth, inflation, and higher for longer. Folks, the roaring 20s had inflation, had growth, and high rates. UBS is saying that the U.S. economy may be reliving the roaring 20s, which, folks, if you don't remember, the roaring 20s came to a rather horrible ending with what is often called, or is called, the Great Depression. So I'm not sure if reliving the roaring 20s is really a good thing or a bad thing, but you make your own judgment. Mary Daly, Fed president, coming out and saying we are sufficiently restrictive. We will only hike if inflation reaccelerates. Again, you got to remember, that sufficiently restrictive. Again, tie this into what we just talked about in a second. Mary Daly said sufficiently restrictive. So what do you do there? You take the Fed funds rate, let's call it 5.25. You subtract inflation. Inflation, the last reading was, let's call it 3.7. So you're about 180 basis points restrictive, right? Your cost of borrowing is over inflation. Now, if we go back to what Mohammed El-Alarian says, and we're going to be at, let's call it 2.5. What does that mean if Mary Daly is right? We are sufficiently restrictive and inflation drops 120 basis points. Normally, again, just normally, the Fed would lower rates because they don't want to become more restrictive. They want to stay where they're at. So again, just food for thought. We, of course, had Moody's. Don't you love Moody's coming out on a holiday weekend right at the end of the trading and saying, hey, we have put the U.S. credit rating on watch. We think there might be set up for a default. Folks, we do have the threat of a government shutdown this week, something we are definitely going to have to watch for. This was delayed. It was Kevin McCarthy, I think, did a clean bill and got fired. What does the new guy do? Do we go to a shutdown? I don't know. Get your popcorn ready. We'll see what's going on. And finally, Redfin is out saying that the housing market is starting to form cracks. They're basically saying sellers are dropping prices. 7% of sellers dropped price in the last 4-week. Average is 3.6%. So what is going on? Here's the deal, folks. You and I have talked about this for a while. It's a shame Redfin doesn't understand. At 8% mortgage rates, the only people that are selling have to sell. So of course, if you have to sell, you are called what? You are called a motivated seller. Lots of folks need to sell for lots of reasons. This is why there are still transactions going on at 8%. Did you know that transactions are down 23% year on year? Folks, we have had a housing crash. I would argue that 23% drop year on year is another leg down in the housing crash in transactions. And then finally, what is going on in the housing market at 8% rates? Quite simply, cash buyers are growing. Cash buyers now make up 34% of most recent transactions. Historical averages is closer to 28%. So again, if you're a cash buyer, you're not really worried by rates. Usually if you're a cash buyer, you're also getting a deal and a discount. So a lot of stuff going on. I want to congratulate 2 people. They are getting their cards. Nick, congratulations for getting your next deal. Your card will be in the mail. And then finally, also Nathan. Nathan, congratulations on your next deal. Folks, these black cards are for anybody that does the work and closes their next deal. I do have some golden tickets from when you get your first card or your first deal, and then you can get as many of these black ones as you like. And then lastly, folks, the event in Vegas. Thank you all for signing up. We are now down to 57 tickets. 57 tickets, folks. Tickets are starting to sell very quickly. Please do me a favor. Buy your tickets today. They're only $199. You are going to get to interact and ask questions of 12 millionaires. Please bring your significant other, especially if they're not on board, because this is going to be the environment where you can ask questions, you can network with the millionaires. They are not going to come in and just speak and leave. They will be there the full 2 days, at least most of them. And again, you will also get to interact with lots of people that are on this live stream, lots of people that are in the comments, and you will get to make new friends, new acquaintances, take some pictures, have some fun. We will learn, we will motivate, we will make some memories, and I hope to see you there. Again, $199, 57 tickets left. That's all we've got. I'm not going to pack the house. It's going to be comfortable for all of us, and I hope to see you there. And then again, remember, I'm traveling this week, I'm traveling for a few days. So if you wanted to take advantage of that, I'm put the bonus for the How to Get Started One Rental at a Time course. Sign up, get 2 $50 bonus courses, maybe the Mastermind, maybe the Buy Box, maybe How to Leverage Debt Equity, whatever you'd like, you can get those. And please, lots of you are buying them. But remember, you also get access to the private Facebook group. So don't sleep on the private Facebook group. There are thousands of people in there doing the work, winning, networking, asking questions. Frankly, the Facebook group is worth $3.99 all by itself, let alone all the amazing stuff that we bring. So again, one more time, shout out to Nathan and Nick. You guys are amazing. Congrats on your deal. I will put them in the mail as I head to the airport. All right, folks, take care. Bye.